Niger, home to over 25 million people, is a landlocked country in West Africa that has long been considered one of the world's poorest nations. It has faced significant challenges, including political instability and extreme poverty. Yet in recent years, Niger has started drawing attention on the global stage. But what's causing this sudden shift in global interest? Despite its past struggles, Niger holds something crucial to today's geopolitical landscape: vast reserves of uranium, oil, and other valuable natural resources. In fact, Niger holds the 7th largest uranium reserves in the world, contributing significantly to global energy needs, particularly in Europe. So why is Niger, with all these resources, still facing challenges? And more importantly, how is it becoming a pivotal player in global energy, trade, and security? Since gaining independence from France in the 1960s, Niger has been plagued by political instability, with frequent changes in leadership, including a military coup in 2021, followed by another attempt in 2023. This instability often led to the expulsion of Western allies like France and Germany, who previously played a major role in Niger's economy and security. However, as Western powers pulled out, new global players stepped in. Turkey, Russia, and China are now forming strong partnerships with Niger, seeing its strategic importance. Turkey has expanded its military presence, selling Bayraktar drones and deepening defense ties, while China has invested in Niger's oil infrastructure with plans for a $5 billion pipeline. What's Niger's strategy? It's about leveraging these partnerships to maintain sovereignty and boost its economy. By balancing relations with powerful nations, Niger is making sure its resources, especially uranium and oil, are at the forefront of global trade, securing its position on the world stage. And this is just the beginning. The core of Niger's rise is its wealth in natural resources. Niger is sitting on an enormous reserve of uranium, oil, and other minerals that the world desperately needs. To give you an idea of just how significant these resources are, Niger holds the 7th largest uranium reserves in the world. That's right, one of the key elements needed to power nuclear energy across Europe, and it's coming from Niger. In fact, Niger supplies about 25% of the European Union's uranium needs. This makes it critical to countries like France, which relies heavily on nuclear power. But that's not all. Niger also has oil reserves that have drawn attention from global superpowers. While Niger's oil industry has historically been underdeveloped due to political instability and lack of infrastructure, things are starting to change. Recently, China stepped in, planning a $5 billion oil pipeline that would stretch all the way to the Atlantic Ocean, allowing Niger to export up to 60,000 barrels of oil per day. And this is no small move. It's a game-changer for Niger's oil sector, which had been lagging behind due to its landlocked position. So why are these resources so valuable to the rest of the world? Well, we're at a point in history where energy security is becoming one of the most important issues for nations everywhere. With climate change, global conflicts, and shifting trade dynamics, countries are scrambling to secure steady supplies of energy. And that's where Niger comes in. With its vast reserves of uranium, oil, and other minerals like gold and iron, it's no wonder that nations like China, Russia, and Turkey are racing to form partnerships. But it's not just about extracting the resources. Niger also faces the challenge of making sure that these resources are leveraged properly. Countries like Saudi Arabia and Russia have easier to extract oil, but Niger's oil reserves are a bit trickier. Many of Niger's oil fields are classified as unconventional reserves, which means they require more advanced techniques like fracking to extract. With so much at stake, it's no surprise that Niger has become a hotspot for international players. After the 2021 coup, many of Niger's traditional Western allies, including France and Germany, started to pull out their military presence. In the past, these Western nations were key partners in Niger's defense and economic strategies. But as they left, other nations quickly stepped in. Since 2019, Turkey has been selling Bayraktar drones to Niger and neighboring countries like Mali and Burkina Faso. These drones have become a crucial part of Niger's fight against insurgent groups. And it doesn't stop there. Turkey's growing influence in Niger isn't just about defense. The two nations have also strengthened ties in areas like education, trade, and healthcare. Then there's Russia. After Western troops withdrew, Russia saw an opportunity to increase its foothold in Niger. Russia had been providing military training and support to Niger and other West African countries, leveraging instability in the region to solidify its presence. As we mentioned earlier, China's involvement in Niger goes beyond just oil. China's Belt and Road Initiative is providing much-needed infrastructure, and with the planned oil pipeline through Benin, China is ensuring its access to Niger's oil reserves. It's all about balancing relationships. By forming alliances with Turkey, Russia, and China, Niger is ensuring that it maintains its sovereignty and control over its resources. Historically, Niger has relied heavily on Nigeria for its electricity and access to global trade routes. This dependency has always been a weak point for Niger's economy. In fact, a significant portion of Niger's electricity comes directly from Nigeria. But here's the problem. With the growing political tensions between the two countries and Nigeria's recent decision to cut off electricity to Niger, the situation has become even more fragile. Imagine entire cities in Niger experiencing rolling blackouts, with industries coming to a halt and daily life being disrupted. This is the reality for Niger today. So what's the solution? Well, Niger is looking to reduce its reliance on Nigeria by tapping into its own energy resources. The country is rich in fossil fuel reserves, particularly oil, and there's a major focus on using these resources to power the economy independently. But this is where things get tricky. While Niger has the resources, it lacks the infrastructure to make full use of them. Extracting oil from unconventional reserves, such as shale oil, requires advanced technology like fracking. It's a complex and costly process, but the benefits could be huge. If Niger can ramp up its oil production and build the necessary infrastructure, it could not only become self-sufficient in energy, but also a significant exporter to neighboring countries. However, it's not just about producing energy. Infrastructure challenges are a major obstacle to Niger's ambitions. Projects like the China-backed oil pipeline that would connect Niger's oil fields to the Atlantic have been delayed due to a combination of political instability, the COVID-19 pandemic, and regional conflicts. Without the right infrastructure, Niger will continue to struggle to transport its oil to global markets. So while Niger is on the path to energy independence, there's still a long road ahead. The key question is, can the country overcome these infrastructure challenges and political obstacles to truly unlock its energy potential? This is where partnerships with countries like China and Turkey come into play. These nations are investing heavily in Niger's energy infrastructure, helping to build the pipelines and refineries needed to support its growing oil industry. Can Niger sustain its growth? That's the question. Niger is working toward energy independence, but can it sustain this momentum? After all, becoming a key player in the global energy market is no easy feat, especially for a country that has been plagued by political instability for decades. But here's the thing. Despite all the challenges, Niger's economy has actually shown significant growth in recent years. In fact, over the past decade, Niger has doubled its formal economic output, thanks in large part to its natural resource wealth and strategic partnerships with countries like China, Russia, and Turkey. These alliances have provided Niger with the financial and technical support it needs to develop its oil and uranium sectors. But there are still risks. While these international partnerships bring opportunities, they also come with strings attached. China, for example, has a significant influence on Niger's oil industry through its Belt and Road Initiative, and any political shifts could disrupt this relationship. Similarly, Niger's ties with Russia and Turkey are built on mutual interests, but those could change in an instant if geopolitical tensions rise. On top of that, Niger's reliance on its natural resources could also be a double-edged sword. Countries that depend heavily on resource extraction often fall victim to what is called the resource curse. where the focus on natural resources stifles the development of other industries. For Niger to sustain its growth, it will need to diversify its economy and invest in sectors beyond oil and uranium. Overall, the road to sustained growth is not going to be easy and will require careful strategic management. Countries like Niger, with so many resources, need to elevate their education and awareness and ensure political stability to benefit and rise to the standards of the first world countries.